Hey, what is up everybody? Escape211 here, and got a bit of a different format today because we are going over the devlog that we got. I have my first frame set up here from their video. Very cool looking frame. I like the way they did that, but I'm not going to show the whole video. I'm actually going to put it in the comment setup below or the description below. You guys can check it out if you want to watch it, just because I think that'll take too long if I do it. I want to make this quick and kind of go through what I think are the good and the bad things of this overall. But first, before we do that, as you probably saw from the thumbnail, we are going to pick our winners for the Longarm 12 token event that is coming up tomorrow. So we have one winner that's going to get 3 tokens, and I picked my winners just a little while ago. So I'm going to play back for you the winning pick here. Here's our video, and here we go. Me picking our winner. And this was cool because I've seen this person on our live stream before. FBI Base is our winner, and he felt the cryo rifle, which honestly makes sense. It's a logical progression, right? We've done the other cryo things before, so doing something with the cryo, like Jav style or with the rifles, makes a lot of logical sense. Kind of a cool idea. So like a long arm that has like an instant stasis effect to it. Kind of interesting. I like the idea of that. I loved all the various ideas that I saw of all different kinds of people for this. Really cool to see some of your thought process, very imaginative, all that. So thank you for all your entries. I'm hoping that we can do more of those where there'll be chances for you guys to get the new stuff and another way that is free as a possibility or a chance. So congrats to you, FBI Base. Hopefully you get what you want out of that event. But we're going to talk about the new devlog that just dropped next. All right, so I'm going to go over the main points of each thing, and I'll bring them up as we go. So first of all, they kind of recap their battle pass stuff, and honestly, I'm fine with battle pass. It's never really been a problem to me. What I like about battle pass is it's a good fit for the pocket change players for when new stuff comes along. When they did something like this where they brought in Maverick, very cool. Skins, could take them, leave them, but they do provide a huge boatload of credits, which is vastly needed in the end game. So even if you're just going for that, very worth the battle pass price, I think. But when they introduce new stuff, that's also really nice, I think, in terms of, again, making it available for those that are, you know, going more of a pocket change route as opposed to those that, you know, for an event crate rush for when a new weapon mech pilot comes along, it's $100. This at least does it less, you know, or is less expensive over time. So I actually think that's really nice. Having different challenges for it could be cool as long as they're not insanely hard. So I don't mind the philosophy they have behind this. It would be cool to see some of the other battle pass items that were lesser, like the shotgun 8 in terms of it being an uncommon weapon, to eventually show up in the free side for those who can earn it that way, just so there's another earnable way to get that aside from acoins. But you know, that, I don't know, that likely won't happen, but it would be nice to see. So we got all that kind of stuff with battle pass. Then we had the new mech that has come up here. All right, I'm not really going to talk too much about the other mechs. They kind of go over their other mechs and mention the idea of Aegis in terms of, like, they're still looking at balancing him, which is cool. I do think there maybe could be things they change, but overall I actually think he's pretty balanced. I don't think there's anything they massively need to change. I don't think he needs to be crazy meta heavy. They already did change his speed on you know, the initial drop from what we had on the test server, so even that alone I feel like puts him in a category where he's fine. I don't think they need to do anything to him. But this new mech Loki, they didn't tell us anything about it, but knowing from the name and that it's a support mech and that it's epic, that's about all we know so far. But given the name and given that there's also one like this in War Robots, I'm thinking it could be stealth. I mean, Loki is a god of mischief, right? So it's got to be something that's going to be trickery. Maybe they're casting illusions. I did see someone that had an interesting idea in the comments. I don't remember what set of comments it was. Maybe it was on the actual video, but they had said maybe it changes your color on the mini map so that, like, you could go behind enemies and they'll think you're friendly, but you actually could be the enemy and they won't know until it's too late, which could be really interesting too. Lots of different cool ideas for what this could be. It could easily just be another stealth mech, but maybe one that is 24 energy, which would be insane. There's a 24 energy stealth mech, that sounds nuts, but you know, various ideas for that sound interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. out as we get closer to seeing it. But new mechs are cool. It just means that it's going to probably come in event crate rush and then be hard for the rest of us to obtain, but we'll see. Not much else to say about that though. So the new weapon is the gravitron beam. All right, looked really interesting. I'm assuming this is a legendary. They did say it's going to be 10, 12, and 16, which is also really nice. I do think 8 would be better than 10, just to again hit the top ends of each mech, but you know, be that as it may, whatever. They're probably just trying to focus more on the heavy stuff. 10 isn't bad though, so I'm okay with that. You could see a 10 working as a sidearm with some other weapons out of 24 energy mech decently. Maybe they're trying to put this with the Voltaic RPG 14. I don't know. But anyway, very interesting looking weapon too, with the pictures that they have for it. I don't know. I think that there's potential for this one, right? So because there's damage heavy elements of it, but it's very hard to tell how much damage each is going to do. Does it depend on like when it explodes as you're shooting, hitting on the side or the back? Is it going to have that benefit? Will it benefit from overheat? Will it benefit from the damage boosting that you get from either brickhouse or stalker? Because this is kind of like localized to the mech. Would those kind of things affect it? And then how does the damage differ or scale between the 10, 12, and 16? We don't know, as well as the rate at which you get to it. Man, I could see where dual 16s, if they do like the kind of gravitron effect at a similar rate to the stasis 16 when you're running those dual and they're like maxed out, it's gonna probably put out significant damage in terms of just like getting to that gravitron like, you know, magnetism or whatever it is ability all the way filled up that quickly. If it fills up quickly, this could be pretty lethal. It could be very strong, very meta at the top end. So very interesting to see. Nice to see them add a beam weapon. Again, very hard to tell until we see it in play. But it could also be that it takes too long and it might just be something that not a whole lot of people use. But we'll see. Very interesting. Then we get into the new pilots. We have Lotus as the first one, which is really cool to see them with some flavor of other areas of India here. For me, just because you kind of have those rings or whatever that they show with it, I don't know if that's just element for either dancing or cultural, but it makes me think of disc launcher. So I feel like this could be a legendary disc pilot, but we don't really know. I mean, all we're getting so far is the lore in this picture, but that would be my guess from what we see in the picture. And then for the other pilot, we have Oksana, who, based on the lore, talked about something about space, right? That she is an engineer and, you know, really spearheaded the space development that they have, like in the Mech Arena world. So part of space makes me think of rocket mortars, right? In terms of just like, you know, that kind of positional weapon or like an artillery weapon. I have no idea if that would be the case. I mean, the gaps that we have still, we have even an epic assault, and then we have legendary for guided, for rocket mortars, and then for one other one, for the close range. So it would be nice if this was close range. I don't think we really want to or necessarily need to have right now dual artillery or like a better artillery one. That would be insane. But I mean, I don't know. It's very hard to tell based on what they've presented so far with the lore, what this will be. Excuse me, what this will be. But we'll see. All right. Next, we have the idea of the new maps. Sounds cool. Sounds interesting. I'm always for new maps, but this isn't really increasing modes. We get one CPC and then probably 3 derivatives of a TDM cycle of maps. Cool to see. I love that, but it's not like we're seeing free-for-all, and it's not like we're seeing some other game mode that's attached to this right now, which I wish we did, but this just looks like more cycle of maps. But something that's new that everyone will have access to, new maps, is always a nice thing, so I do like that element of it. Very cool for everybody. But that is the core of stuff that we're getting here. You know, in a sense of the good and bad here, it's good that we're getting new material. It's good that they're filling some of the other gaps, but the bad in my mind is, again, this is all going to be likely paid items. And the problem for me still is always, there's nothing on the progress path, and there's really no way to get this aside from the event crate rushes that you pay for, or even the acoin ones that are timed. When things are timed like this, if you're a new player, and, you know, maybe you've only been playing Mech Arena for like a week or a couple weeks, you want to keep playing, and then when you hit a certain point where you progress, even if you spend money, there's going to be gaps. There's going to be gaps in stuff. You're going to want the disc launcher 16. You're going to want the shotgun 8. You're going to want the missile rack 12. these big items that are, you know, huge and important to the meta, even if you want to spend, how are you going to get those? There's not really a feasible way to get these items unless you just hit a crate rush at the right time and have the resources to be able to do it, whether that's money or the acoins. I really hate that. I know that they don't want to use the progress path anymore, but without having a stable way to always say, here's how you can get everything as a new player, there will always be some level of weird exclusivity that does not make any sense. All right, even some things that aren't available for cash, like just straight up buy, I don't know if that always happens. Like as a new player, will you have the ability to buy shotgun 8 like all the time? Or does it only come up every so often and you just have to wait for it? That's weird to me. I feel like if you want to be able to buy everything, even if you want them to spend, why are they hindering certain elements of either spending or you know, progressing in that way? I don't get that element of it. So I don't know why they're doing that. And kind of, you know, the other bad thing about this is as they got into the Q&A, I feel like this was them just trying to throw it in there real quick, where they talked about the PvE element, which is interesting, but of course, and I have it on there, my face is in the way. Maybe I can get rid of my frame and you can see it here just for a second. The idea that, you know, they're working on clans, or they said that this stuff won't happen until clans are finished. This is the only mention in the video and in the experience that they talk about for clans. You know, they don't really talk about where they are with clans or anything like that. They just quickly drop this. Now, I did ask my contact about it after watching this video, and they did tell me that, you know, obviously because of how everything has happened with the war and the situation, it has really pushed back their whole development cycle. We know that, but I also know that the idea of clans has been talked about since beta, like, you know, earlier beta. Even when I made like my first video with them, they were in the very early concept phase, and it's felt like they have been in the concept phase ever since. I'm assuming they're further along at this point. I don't really know where they are, but it has been a long time. And I know they've had some hang-ups and hiccups, but it does feel like they're just, you know, really stringing this along and have just focused on the low-hanging fruit of the immediate money that they can make. So it's been very frustrating. I hope that changes. But it's just annoying again to hear a devlog where they don't even mention free-for-all again. They don't mention clans aside from this little minor thing. They answer a Q&A that's related to the PvE content. Big, like, actual changes in modes and different things that will really shake up the gameplay and change what people focus on have not been the focus for a long time. It's just been new pilots, new mechs, new stuff that they make money on, and a little bit of other stuff, you know, like battle pass and new maps. Not anything that's actually bringing in new modes and new, like, real building on content sections that they've added. You know, a lot of that has just been either weird events or just some things, and then of course just new items that will make them money. So it's been a frustrating element for all of that. As far as the PvE stuff that this person is asking about, it's a good question. This has been around for a long time. I have this shot that I wanted to just show. A lot of you have probably already seen this. This was like years ago, man. This shot was the concept art that they did years ago, which is from the PvE kind of thing. This would be like a boss. There are some other images. These are pretty low res, so sorry. But this would be like the boss, and it would be where all these kind of like little mini ships and stuff like that come after and shoot you and your team. Another shot of it here. You can kind of see the mechs. I know, like, quality on this is bad, sorry. But this is kind of like what the co-op mode is that they started to, like, develop with concept art. But because they've been focusing so much on PvP elements, this PvE element has just been put on the back burner for so long. And it sounds like they're not going to touch this until clans. And clans, at least to me, still feels like a ways off because they've hardly talked about it. They haven't said anything to us as partners about it. But I don't know. I mean, there's been times I thought, like, stuff is not going to happen. Remember Disc Launcher 16, where I was like, it's probably not going to happen ever. And then it felt like a week later they dropped it. So maybe me just talking about it means we'll see clans next week. I mean, I got my fingers crossed. If that helps and it actually makes it happen, I don't care. But that is the entirety of this, guys. I mean, that's all I really want to talk about. That's the good and the bad. I mean, cool to see new stuff, but it's really frustrating that it's new stuff that is again going to be hard for people to attain unless they spend money or like bank huge amounts of in-game currency for very specific windows of time. Because we still don't have the progress path or something to fit that gap of the progress path, this is a very frustrating element for me when they just focus on these new items that, you know, not everybody's going to have access to for a while. I get that, you know, paying players should get access to it first, but give it to us a month down the line, or maybe a little bit longer, instead of waiting for like 3 to 4 months later. I'm looking at this Launcher 16 again. It's been what, like 2, maybe 3 months since it's been, you know, available for bought crate rushes. They even just did another one. I thought it was going to be an acoin based one, but again, it was one where you had to pay for, so I'm not going to buy it. But it's just aggravating that they limit it to only that kind of stuff and haven't provided even, you know, an in-game currency way for those who are free to play to get it. So, you know, it's just the state of the game and how things have been going lately. But that's just my gripe and my, you know, pain point for it. Some of the other stuff in it was still interesting and cool. I am curious to hear your thoughts on what you think, you know, this new mech especially. That's the one that we know the least about. What you think its abilities are going to be. What do you think could actually be the co-op mode? How soon do you think clans are coming? I know I'm skeptical sometimes about it, but, you know, that's probably just because we haven't seen it for a while. So, I don't know. Well, I'm hoping that just by me talking about it comes along sooner, because we all would love to see clans in the game. But anyway, that is it for me on this one, guys. Again, grats to our winner, FBI Base. You should be seeing those tokens pretty soon, buddy. Hopefully you get what you want out of that. But otherwise, for everyone else, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.